Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our channel. Today we're going to explore a very special aspect of Stoicism, a philosophy that has been around for thousands of years and has helped many people grow. But there's a common misconception that I want to clear up right from the start. Stoicism is not just for men. Yes, if you think this philosophy is only suitable for strong men who crave power and material success, then you're missing a much deeper truth. In fact, Stoicism has no gender or age distinction. It's a philosophy for everyone, regardless of whether you're male or female, young or old. Stoicism isn't just about controlling your emotions or staying calm in the face of external pressures. It's also about how to help you grow as a person, find inner peace, and face life's challenges with the most wisdom. This philosophy can be useful for anyone who is looking for personal growth and wants to live a more meaningful life. We all know that modern life is full of challenges. Whether you are a woman trying to balance work and family, or a man facing social and professional pressures, Stoicism provides powerful tools to help you deal with any situation. Interestingly, this philosophy is not just for those who want to become stronger physically or mentally, but it also teaches us how to act ethically and live with purpose, values that can be applied to any aspect of life. So, why do many people think that Stoicism is only for men? Maybe because the famous icons of this philosophy, like Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus, were both men. But that doesn't mean that women or others can't apply the lessons of this philosophy to their lives. Stoicism teaches us about courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. Virtues that are gender neutral. In fact, anyone can benefit from developing these qualities. If you are looking to grow yourself, find peace, and face your daily challenges more effectively, Stoicism is the key. It is not a dry philosophy reserved for ambitious young men. It is a way of life that can help anyone, male or female, thrive. Before we dive into Stoicism, I have a small request for you. Leave a comment with the phrase "Stoicism is for everyone." Not just a quote, but your statement of love for great values, virtue, and deep gratitude. This way, you'll find yourself part of a community of like-minded people who are growing together. Let us know how many like-minded people are here. If you agree that Stoic philosophy can help people grow, show it now. And don't forget, your important task today is to subscribe. Not only is it free, but it also helps us continue to bring you valuable content, sharing how Stoicism can help you live a meaningful, peaceful life and overcome any challenge. Let's begin our journey of discovering Stoicism, a philosophy that has been around for thousands of years, with a rich history and constant development. I can only touch the surface of this vast topic in today's episode, but don't worry, we'll dive into the core aspects together. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 important aspects of Stoicism: the cardinal virtues, core beliefs, and essential practices. Before we dive into the details, remember that Stoicism is not just a philosophy of reason, but also a way of living serenely with virtue. Concepts like virtue and reason may sound familiar to those who have come across Stoicism. They are key elements that help us live a prosperous life, overcoming difficulties with inner peace and strength. So if you're looking for a way to effectively deal with life's challenges and maintain inner peace, you'll find what we're about to explore extremely helpful. Now, let's move on to a concept that I call the 3 C's of Stoicism. These 3 C's include core virtues, core beliefs, and core practices, the essential elements of a Stoic personal development journey. In Stoic philosophy, there are 4 cardinal virtues from which all other virtues are built. They are the foundation for the rational and virtuous way of life that the philosophy emphasizes. These core virtues include 1. Courage, 2. Justice, 3. Temperance, 4. Wisdom. So what do you understand about courage here? Courage in Stoic philosophy is not simply about facing fear in dangerous situations. It is not just about overcoming fear in the face of danger as in adventurous physical actions, but it is much deeper. Courage here is the ability to stand firm in the face of adversity and accept challenges with a steadfast and virtuous attitude. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Stand up when you fail, celebrate acting like a man, limit yourself to the present. Peace comes when you stop caring what others say or think, and concentrate only on doing what is right." This advice from Marcus shows us that courage is not just about facing difficulties, but also about accepting failure and acting with dignity. Marcus encourages us not to be swayed by the opinions of others, but to simply focus on doing the best we can. Peace comes from within when we stop worrying about external factors like social judgment and instead focus on doing the right thing in the present. Being content with less, as Marcus says, does not mean limiting our potential, but rather appreciating and finding fulfillment in the little things, thereby finding satisfaction and peace within. Stoic courage is accepting what we cannot control, but still persevering to act ethically and with a calm spirit, regardless of the circumstances. Seneca also emphasizes this aspect when he says, "Sometimes, just being alive is an act of courage." This quote refers not only to stressful or harsh situations, but also to the courage needed to face the most ordinary things in life. There are times when continuing to live a challenging life, facing suffering and injustice without retreating, is also a display of great courage. Living each day with determination, with virtue, and not letting adversity destroy your spirit is a noble expression of Stoic courage. In the next section, we will explore these virtues in more detail and how to apply them to your daily life so that you can live a life that is not only prosperous, but also filled with serenity and meaning. Now let's talk about justice. Justice in Stoic philosophy is not just a concept of law or judgment, but also a deep commitment to fairness, equality, and impartiality. This means that we must treat everyone rightly, regardless of who they are or where they come from. There are three core elements of the Stoic view of justice that I would like to share with you. First, justice is universal. It does not discriminate based on social status, race, gender, or any other factor. Justice requires that we treat everyone the same, because we are all part of the same human community. Second, justice is based on reason. This means not blindly following some arbitrary rule or custom, but acting with understanding and careful consideration. We need to make decisions based on reason and fairness, not being influenced by emotion or bias. Finally, justice is proactive. It is not just about avoiding wrongdoing, but also about promoting what is right. This means that we must actively seek to help others, protect their rights, and build a better community. And what is temperance? Temperance is not simply restraint, but the ability to control oneself in all aspects of life. It involves keeping a balance between your desires and actions to ensure that you do not get caught up in negative emotions or temporary temptations. Temperance encompasses all aspects of life. It shows up in your words, your actions, what you eat and drink, and even your thoughts and feelings. This does not mean that you have to live a life of extreme asceticism or completely deny yourself the pleasures of life. Instead, temperance requires you to maintain moderation, know when to stop, and not let yourself get carried away by desires that exceed your limits. Another important aspect of temperance is accepting your circumstances calmly, even when life is not perfect. This means that we should not let envy of others or what they have control our thoughts. Instead of being jealous, we focus on being content with what we have. Temperance is the way you control yourself to stay on the right path, not being sidetracked by unnecessary desires. Wisdom in Stoicism is one of the four cardinal virtues and is considered the most important foundation for us to achieve prosperity and happiness in life. According to Stoic philosophy, wisdom is not just theoretical knowledge or understanding, but also the ability to apply that knowledge in a rational way to make wise and correct decisions. In everyday life, wisdom is the ability to distinguish between what is controllable and what is uncontrollable. This is a very important point in Stoic philosophy. For example, you cannot control external events such as the weather, the behavior of other people, or unexpected events. However, what you can control is how you react to those events. Wisdom helps you realize that instead of wasting energy worrying about things you cannot change, you should focus on adjusting your own attitude and response. This is how you maintain inner peace, no matter what life throws at you. Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius emphasize that wisdom is the ability to see and distinguish between what is truly important and what is just frivolous. Epictetus once said, Do not try to make your own what is beyond your control, but learn to control yourself. This means that wisdom is not simply knowledge, but also a deep understanding of the nature of life, knowing what is truly worthwhile and what is not worth worrying about too much. Additionally, Stoic wisdom also involves self-awareness. You need to know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and the values and goals you pursue. With this self-awareness, you will know what is right for you, avoiding being caught up in external pressures or comparisons with others. Wisdom will guide you on the right path and help you make decisions based not only on your emotions, but also on reason and careful consideration. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "Our mind becomes what we think." This is a reminder that wisdom is not just what we learn from the outside, but also how we think and process information. Wisdom helps us train our thinking to align with the right values, thereby creating a meaningful life and achieving peace of mind. Finally, wisdom in Stoicism is also knowing how to live in accordance with virtue. Philosopher Seneca emphasized that wisdom is the ability to know the virtues and live by them. This includes seeking truth, respecting justice, living moderately, and remaining calm in the face of adversity. Wisdom helps you stay honest with yourself and others, face difficulties calmly, and always act based on core values, instead of being swept away by external distractions. And now we're going to talk about the second C, which is core beliefs. I'm going to talk about core beliefs here, but my wonderful Stoics, we're halfway through this video. If you're still here, it means that what I'm sharing is really touching your heart. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to our channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you could do so now. Your support is truly a great source of motivation, helping us continue to create meaningful content for you. The core beliefs of Stoicism, it may sound abstract, but don't worry, I will take you on this journey in the most intimate way. Think of me as a friend, a guide through the profound philosophy of Stoicism to help you find peace and prosperity from within, not from what you possess on the outside. Let's start with a core belief that I think we can all agree on, and that is virtue. Let me explain this in the most understandable way. Virtue, for Stoics, is the guiding light. It is not just something you hear about, like honesty or courage, but it is everything that defines you. What matters most is how you act and think. When you live with virtue, you will feel peace and happiness from your own right actions and thoughts, whether you are rich or barely fed, famous or completely unknown. Everything else besides virtue, money, fame, even health, is temporary. True, they can make life more pleasant, but they are not essential to living well. So what can you really control? This brings us to the concept of dichotomy of control. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned. We can't control everything in life, and that can be frustrating at times. But here's the key. What you can control are your own reactions, thoughts, and actions. You can choose how you react to difficult situations, you can choose to think positively or negatively, and most importantly, you can choose to act ethically, no matter how chaotic the outside world may be. But things like other people's words, other people's actions, and even the results of your actions, these are out of your control. Realizing this, I promise, will make life a lot easier. You stop worrying about things you can't change and focus on doing your best in what you can control. Another thing I find really interesting about Stoicism is indifference to external circumstances. Think about it this way. Wealth, poverty, success, failure, none of these things are really good or bad. It's just how we perceive them. It's great to have wealth, to have a good job, but remember that it's not necessary for you to be happy. True happiness comes from living righteously and virtuously. And if you do have wealth or external success, use it wisely. Let it serve a greater purpose, rather than letting it control you. Something I really love about Stoicism is the concept of cosmopolitanism. It is understanding that we are not separate individuals living in isolation from each other, but that we are all part of a larger community. We are all part of the same universe, and as such, we have a responsibility to the community around us. Not just your family or friends, but also strangers, people you don't know, even people you disagree with. Treat them with respect and compassion. Because when we live in harmony with each other, we are all happier. And don't forget that you can't be truly happy if you live for yourself. We need to connect, share, and help each other. That's the only way to create a prosperous and fulfilling life. Overall, when you understand and apply these core beliefs in your daily life, you will see that Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy, but a practical and powerful way of living that helps you find inner peace regardless of what is going on around you. It is through wisdom, virtue, and mutual respect that you can overcome any difficulty and truly live a worthwhile life. Okay, we have gone through the first and second C of Stoicism, which are core virtues and core beliefs. Hopefully, you have deeply memorized and felt their importance in your journey of self-development. Are you still here? Great, because now we will continue with the third extremely important C, which is core practices. Here are the practical steps to putting those virtues and beliefs into action, making your life better every day. First, let's talk about mindfulness. You see, mindfulness isn't something we often see explicitly called out in the classical Stoic texts, but it's still one of the most important practices. I think of it as the art of being present. That is, being truly present in the moment. Imagine spending too much time regretting past mistakes or worrying endlessly about the future. We've all been there, right? But what Seneca is reminding us is not to let things that have passed or have not yet come take control of our minds. As he said, fear of future pain and remembering past pains are two things we need to get rid of forever. This means that we can plan for the future, but don't let unnecessary worries affect our present happiness. Next, one of the practices that I find really helpful is premeditatio malorum, or thinking about the bad things that could happen. Sounds a bit negative, right? But think of it this way. When you imagine the worst possible scenarios, you not only prepare yourself to face them, but you also help yourself know how to deal with them. It's like a mental preparation exercise for difficult situations. When you're ready to face the worst, everything seems a lot easier. However, don't forget that there are things that are beyond our control. You can do everything you can to avoid bad outcomes, but if they still happen, then it's just fate. Amor fati, love with fate, is a reminder that life has its ups and downs, and instead of fighting fate, learn to love and accept it. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to learn and grow. I learned this through the situations that life threw at me, and believe me, it really changed the way I look at life. Another practice that I would like to share with you, and this is something that I believe we should all apply in our daily lives, is memento mori. Always remember that we will die. Don't be too quick to think of this as gloomy. In fact, it is a valuable reminder of the true value of time. It helps us realize that our time on earth is limited, and therefore we don't want to waste it on meaningless things. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Stop everything you are doing for a moment and ask yourself, am I afraid of dying because I will not be able to do this anymore?" Treat everything you want to do, say, or plan to do as if you were a dying man. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul is the color of your thoughts. These words make us reflect on what we are doing with our lives. The awareness of death is not to create fear, but on the contrary, it gives us insight into what is truly important. When you know that your time is limited, you will begin to appreciate each moment more. Focus on the things that matter and ignore the things that are not worth worrying about. You will live a life based on reason and virtue, and that is the true value of life. Let memento mori be your guide to living a more meaningful and fulfilling life every day. Finally, one practice that I highly recommend is journaling. I used to take this lightly, thinking that just meditating in my head was enough. But when I started writing down my thoughts and feelings every day, I realized that it was a great way to connect with myself, to explore my own beliefs, values, and virtues. Journaling gives you a clearer view of your life, helps you track your progress, and aligns your actions with the values you hold dear. This not only helps you grow spiritually, but also brings you closer to living a prosperous and fulfilling life. So, have you grasped the core practices of Stoicism? These things not only help me live better every day, but also help me face life's challenges with more calmness and clarity. I encourage you to try them in your own life. And remember, the important thing is not that you are perfect from the start, but that you dare to walk this path, make progress every day, and thereby live a more wonderful life. You are the master of your own destiny. May you always be strong and prosperous. And now, my Stoic friends. Now, I want to share with you some ideas to start your own Stoic journey and use it to create prosperity in your life. You don't need to be a scholar or a philosopher. Just have the willingness to change and apply these simple but profound things in your daily life. Where to start? You must be wondering how to enter the world of Stoicism, right? Don't worry, I have some helpful suggestions for you right here. First tip, start by reading the classics of Stoicism. There's really nothing better than building a foundation from the original sources of this philosophy. I recommend picking up some of the iconic books, like Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Personally, I find this book accessible, easy to understand, and really offers some profound lessons for life. Don't worry too much if books like Meditations, Relate by Marcus Aurelius, or The Handbook by Epictetus seem daunting. Take it slow, step by step, and you'll gradually see the connections between the ideas in these works. After reading this book, I believe you'll want to read more, not only for the knowledge, but also for the positive changes they bring to your life. Second suggestion, choose a Stoic practice that you feel is most relevant to you and start practicing it every day. For me, there is nothing more important than mindfulness, being conscious of your actions, feelings, and thoughts. This is the foundation of all Stoic practices. When you focus on the present, being conscious of everything you do, you will feel a change in the way you respond to life. A very accessible practice is to spend 10 minutes each evening reflecting. Reflect on what you did during the day and ask yourself, did I act rightly and courageously today? Or, did I treat others fairly? These questions will help you check your actions and gradually help you become more perfect. Don't forget to write down these thoughts in a journal. This is a great way to track your progress. Suggestion 3. Practice cosmopolitanism, or in other words, extend kindness beyond your family. Every day, try to do an act of kindness to someone you don't know, maybe a stranger you meet on the street or in your daily life. You'll find that this kindness not only brings joy to them, but also to you. It opens your heart and brings a sense of connection to the world around you, which is what Stoicism is all about. We are all part of a larger community. Final words. I want to end by encouraging you to not just stop at reading and contemplating, but to put that knowledge into action. Using Stoicism will not only help you grow as a person, but will also change the way you see life and the world around you. You don't have to be a great philosopher, just have the will to learn and practice, and things will get better. I'd love to hear your stories on this journey. Leave a comment, share your thoughts on these suggestions, and don't hesitate to put them into practice today. Thanks for listening, and remember, your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. See you next time, and keep living well.